I think Connie's calling in, so let's talk to Connie real quick as we play our new theme song here. This is called Bruce's People. KB Radio.
That's my people. I got a wife and kids from Baltimore. I went out for a ride and I never went back.
All right, we are having our very first edition of Bruce's People, and our very first, let me turn you on, our very first caller is Connie. Connie, can you hear us all right?
Yeah. Hi, Sammy. How's it going?
Pretty good. How about yourself? Thank you for doing this for us, and we appreciate it. And I'm just glad that I had so many people wanting to do this, and you're the very first one.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure.
So you saw Bruce where and when? Is this your first time you've seen Bruce?
No, of course not. It was my first time being so close. I definitely lucked out in the pit lottery, and I was the sixth person to enter Prudential Center in Newark last Sunday night. So it was my first time being that close to see Bruce, but definitely not my first show.
How many times have you seen him? Could you guess, or is it way too many that you lost track?
Yeah, I think it's way too many. My first time seeing him was during the Rising Tour, and I've never looked back. I definitely have gone to a handful for all of the E Street shows, all of his solo shows, and I can't wait to go to my next one.
So you're a lifelong Bruce fan then?
Absolutely. I definitely grew up listening to Bruce thanks to my dad and my uncles. My dad always says my first lullabies were off the Tunnel of Love album, and I remember in my parents' living room, me and my brothers practicing our Springsteen slides. So definitely lifelong fan, and have only gotten more passionate over the years.
And I bet your experience at Newark made you even more of a passionate fan.
It was amazing. I am still floating on a cloud. I can't believe how much I've lucked out.
I imagine, I couldn't fathom what that felt like being on stage. I mean, just the picture that you sent us from Debora of you on stage when he was on there checking off your sign. I mean, it was unbelievable. I thought whenever I saw the joy on your face and your arms up in the air. And I explained it, but it'd probably be better coming from the person that it happened to. So, what happened at Newark?
It was such a rush. We had the show coming up. I was going with my husband and my father, who got me into Springsteen way back when. And I knew that going into the show, it had been a whirlwind month or so for my husband and I. We got married. Shortly after that, we found out we were expecting and had the holidays.
Congratulations.
We had gone on our honeymoon. Thank you. We had gone on our honeymoon, and our Springsteen show was kind of like the last hurrah of our honeymoon. We had been really looking forward to it. We were sharing the night with my father, and I just figured, you know what, this has been a month filled with lifelong milestone bucket list items. Why not try for one more check on the old bucket list? And it came true. I really lucked out. Bruce pulled me up on stage and took me for a little twirl, and it's a night I will never forget. And I got to share it with my dad and my husband and my unborn baby. So it's definitely a story that I will retell to the point of driving my kid crazy, I'm sure.
But you know what? You have a right to do that. You have a right to do that by all means. That's going to be that's an amazing story. I still can't believe that happened. When I saw that, I just said that's so Bruce. That's so Bruce of him.
I know.
And then he checked off your sign.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. He checked off the sign for me. We got up there. He said congratulations right away. He asked me how far along I am. I may or may not have promised him I would name the baby Bruce. I can't really remember.
So are you naming the baby Bruce? Is that
we don't know if it's a girl or a boy yet, so it could be a little Rosalita.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. So your husband has no choice in this.
Yeah, he says he's a Springsteen fan by marriage, but I've done a lot of good work converting him over the past couple of years. So
okay.
I think he'll be good with a little wink and a nod to the Springsteen catalog.
I think so. I think it could be a Bruce or a Rosie or Frankie or a.
I always say one of the things I love about Bruce is the incredibly colorful cast of characters he gives you in his song. So if it's not a Bruce, I'm sure I can give him a little wink with one of his other characters.
Or one of the other band members, maybe a Stevie, a little
sure.
Stevie.
Little Steve, I mean, come on. What's to, I mean, I can't argue with that.
I think good Halloween costume for you three could be your husband could dress as Bruce, you could dress as Patty, and the baby could be little Stevie.
Get me the bandana.
Yeah.
Get me the bandana. I am ready to sign up.
All right,
October is right around the corner.
I'll send you the bandana. We'll do that then.
That sounds amazing.
So that was the first time you ever sat in the pit then?
Not my first time in the pit. It was just the first time that I had gotten that lucky with the lottery. And it was one of those days where I felt like everything that could go wrong would go wrong. We live in Manhattan, so we had to get a rental car, and we got held up at the rental car place. So we got to Prudential Center a little bit late. We got in line, got ready to get our wristbands, and they told us as they were handing them out, we needed to go to the box office and have the tickets reprinted to have the hard ticket stubs. And so we had to get out of line. It was just one of those days where anything that could go wrong felt like it would. But in the end, it put us in the perfect position. Like I said, they pulled the lottery, and I was the sixth person to get into the Prudential Center. And I just keep going back to Bruce himself saying, someday we'll look back on this, and it will all seem funny. And all of those little setbacks, all those little obstacles that kept frustrating us all morning, it put us in the perfect position. We were the sixth people to enter the arena, had awesome seats, and obviously a night that we will never, ever forget.
That is incredible. I mean, anything that could go wrong went wrong, but it all went right in the end.
You know, ever since I was little, anytime I was having a bad day or something would go wrong, my dad would always say, someday we'll look back on this and it will all seem funny. And so when they pulled the lottery number and it was six people ahead of us, my dad just turned to me and burst out laughing because, again, Springsteen lyrics run true.
Uh-huh. Bruce runs true. I mean, it's the man is incredible. The way that he has been able to form what he did with his music and touch so many people, just it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it all the time.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's one of those things you can relate to, whether you've been listening to Bruce since the 70s or you're a kid just picking up your first album. He definitely spans the generations. He's someone that everyone at some point in their life can relate to, and I definitely appreciate that.
I don't doubt it. I'm going to have my very first general admission experience with him in March out here in Los Angeles. I'm going to go to all three shows out here. And any words of advice on how I could do what you did?
You know, there's nothing like being in the pit. I mean, I think anyone who's experienced that can tell you that once you're in the pit, it's like, how do you go to another show and sit up in the seating? You're down there, you invest so much of your time with the other members of the pit, and it becomes a family. Just that Springsteen, the E Street Nation, the Bruce Buds, you all connect. You're all rooting for each other. So I would just say get there early, get your wristband, cross your fingers, and enjoy your time with all the Bruce Buds. It's a great group of people, and they're all cheering you on. That was one of the best things about this experience is the overwhelming amount of feedback and support I got from across. I mean, from obviously the United States to Sweden, Germany, Australia, Bruce fans all over the world were all rooting me on, and I feel like any show you go to, you can experience that.
That's incredible. I hope that I could be as lucky as you guys are. We were talking to Connie from Pennsylvania. She ended up dancing on stage with Bruce, and he said congratulations to you for your wedding and your pregnancy. I just like it's incredible that you guys that everything fell into place like that.
I mean, it's just the magic of Bruce and the support of the E Street Nation. It's been incredible. It's something I'll never forget, and I hope that every Bruce fan gets to have a moment like that because it's something that'll go down in my record book.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You'll never forget it, Connie. You'll never live it down, and you'll never forget it. I can tell you that.
Like I said, my kid might be a little tired of the story after a couple of years, but
that's okay. That's okay.
I'm hoping we've got a third-generation Springsteen fan, so I'm going to do my best to start him young.
Oh, that's the best way to do it. Put the headphones on your belly and just say, "Here you go, little Bruce or little Rosalita."
Exactly. I will definitely be doing that.
That sounds incredible. So stay on hold. I'm going to take a short break. I'll talk to you off air. And we got...
Well,
how about...
good stuff. I really appreciate you having me. And thanks again to all the Bruce fans out there that were cheering me on. I can't tell you how much it's meant to me and my family.
I'm glad that you agreed to come on to our first edition of Bruce's People, is what we're going to call this. And you spoke a ton of love, and how your father used to sing you lullabies from there.
Yes,
So,
Valentine's Day was always the song that he would go to when I was really fussy.
Oh, okay. That's a great song. How about we play the title track, A Tunnel of Love, as we take our first break?
Absolutely. Bring me back. That's amazing. Thank you.
I will. So stay on hold, Connie. I'll talk to you in about 10 seconds. I want to thank Connie for doing our first edition of Bruce's People here at Glory Days Radio. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we got Brian and Kate calling in at about 5:35. So that's going to be just as incredible as this. So here's Tunnel of Love. More music coming your way right after this.
That man sitting on a little stool takes some money from my hand while his eyes take a walk all over you. Hands me 2 tickets, smiles.